Hey guys, this is Lucas.
And I'm James.
And we're from the band Holding Absence, and you're listening to Rhino Radio.
Okay, so I have the honor of sitting back with James and Luke of Holding Absence. Lucas.
As long as you spell it with a C.
Okay. Of Holding Absence. How you guys doing?
Yeah, really good, dude. Day 2. So, yeah, feeling fresh.
Okay, enough underwear and everything. No laundry yet.
No, not yet.
Fresh pants today. It's good.
Okay, the self-titled debut album finally after so long. I think we spoke twice, talked about it for so long, you waited for so long. What were you guys doing on the day of the release? Was it just 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, so we were supposed to be on tour, right? So and luckily, well, not luckily, but sadly a couple of shows got cancelled, so we actually ended up at home. But it was really nice. I think we all had our own little rituals. Like I went into town, picked up the CD from HMV, listened to it in the car for a couple hours, and then what did I do? I went for food, and then we DJ'd a club. Oh, we went for a meal as well, so I feel like James had a different day. But
So yeah, the plan was we were going to do a DJ set in like a local club in Cardiff as like a release party thing. The rest of the boys did that. I went home, had a bath, and had a load of biscuits in the bath.
It was really nice to be honest.
It was kind of like it was really good.
It was like a mature birthday, you know what I mean? Like I felt special all day long, but I tried taking it easy as well.
So it is like a birthday thing.
Yeah, for sure. It was like a birthday and a Christmas at the same time. Yeah.
Hey, do you guys celebrate birthdays? Is that a big thing or?
Yeah, but don't count the age anymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just older, more mature, and I don't remember how.
Just want cake and a good meal that my parents pay for.
My birthday's in between New Year's and Christmas, so it's the 29th. So it's every time it's just like, happy birthday.
3 presents.
Honestly, I'd probably get less presents because obviously there's more presents to buy. Do you get what I mean?
So it's not the first time that I'm going to see you live tonight. I've seen you on stage a few times, and I don't know if you see it as a compliment or just a weird fact, but I feel like you guys are heavier on stage.
Yeah.
Is it something that you guys accept, something that you aim for? Or is it just...
I think it's something we aim for, yeah, because we grew up watching bands that were like mad, but also we also grew up listening to nice catchy music, so I think one of the biggest goals we wanted for this band was to be able to have a live show that was super intense and really personable, but then also be a band that you could go home and listen to for hours and not feel like you had to watch us live, you know what I mean? So they're two different experiences, but I feel like they lend themselves really similarly.
Do you feel you surprise fans and all of a sudden they get a heavier band?
Sometimes, yeah. Like I remember this German kid specifically was like, I went home and listened to you after the live show and I hated it, but I loved the live show, and I was just like, okay, you can't win them all, but yeah. So yeah.
Okay. What pumps you up, James, before you go on stage?
I think it's a big thing. We're a very emotional band, so our performances are real. I know every band probably says that, but I think it rings more true with us. And like, for example, last night I was like, I'm gonna chill out tonight. It's the first night of tour. I'm just gonna stand there, and then straight away I was just like, seconds. So I guess it's just like the emotion and the connection with our fan base. Like they hang on every word that Lucas sings, and like it's really nice to see people in the front row singing back. That gets you going.
Okay, we're gonna touch on fans again in just a second, but I want to go back to emotions that you mentioned. You guys have a new track called Your Love, but the continuation of the title has ruined my life.
Yeah.
So I got you in trouble, I think the first time or second time that we spoke about being romantic, and I think
every
there was...
time I've ever spoken to you, you've dubbed me into that.
So are you not romantic anymore? We're going to touch on your romanticism as well in a second, so just try not to get in trouble.
So the album is pretty much entirely about love and a relationship, and it's a concept album as well. So it's not actually a real relationship that happened in my life, but I've taken emotions I felt in my life and put them into this kind of story, And one of the Your Love Has Ruined My Life is I felt like it was a really powerful kind of image and message to send with, like, you fall in love with somebody so much that when you aren't with them anymore, they've destroyed your perception of love. Like, you can't ever truly feel love again, and whether the song is about somebody leaving you or literally losing a partner to death or whatever, like that song, it's morbid to an extent, but it's very much about feeling such an overwhelming form of love that you kind of can't ever go back. So too much of a good thing. I think that's the point of the song.
So after that emotion, do you guys still believe in love? Are you into
for
romance?
Sure. Yeah, I think love's a very important thing.
Okay, if I'm going to talk to partners in your life, are going to support that or going to say he's not romantic?
Stop trying to rub my name through the...
What about you, James? Are you romantic?
I am, yeah. Well, I'm fairly romantic. I mean, I share my food with my girlfriend.
Okay,
That's a pretty
nice.
big step for me, you know. Like, I don't really like sharing food with people.
Share food with me.
I know. Yeah, that's about it. We watch The Office every night. It's quite nice.
So that's romance to you, watching The Office and sharing your food.
That's a big step.
Okay, close to that, I think we spoke about venues closing around Cardiff. What would you say is the biggest help that the scene needs right now?
I think kids just need to play more shows. You know, like we're in a position now where we can't play every week because we need to take 2 months rest to be able to play. Not like physically, but you know, most promoters won't book you if you've just played the town, right? So, but like when we first started, man, like we played so many shows. I think we played 80 shows in a year in the UK, and we all had jobs. And the UK is like so small. There's not even 80 places we could really play, you know. You know, and like even 1 month we played 20 shows in a month, you know. And I just remember thinking like, I wish every other band in the UK was kind of trying to play as many shows as we were at that point, because no way would venues be able to kind of close down because there'd be too much going on, you know what I mean? So I think people just need to, people need to go to shows as well. Like we're very lucky our fan base has grown since we started, and tickets are selling a lot more now than, you know, they were in the early days, but people still need to go to shows more often, you know.
Do you agree?
I think a lot of bands also are trying to like skip the phase that we put 2 years of our lives into, and like annoyingly it works for some bands, but so many bands like want to just release a video and then try and already get onto like a big like academy support tour or something, and then I mean that they're not helping their scene then, you know, they're just coming and then trying to get on a good tour straight away. Our scene, like we were super lucky to grow up in the South Wales music scene, where so like we grew up with bands like The Blackout and Funeral for a Friend and like Kids in Glass Houses, and there was a reason for us to go to shows because these bands were playing lots, all those bands became massive bands. So I think that's just what we're going to try and do, really.
Not to get too political, but is Brexit scaring you?
Yeah, like we try not to talk too much about politics, but it's very, very dark, scary time for. I think the problem is like. It's my kids that I'm worried about. I don't have kids, but like, you know, like the people of tomorrow, and you know, like I think we're
especially musicians that just want to jump over the water and just play Europe.
Well, I saw Roger Daltrey saying about how like, we toured Europe before the EU, and I'm like, well, yeah, but what? Like it was like 60 years ago now. Like a lot has changed. People don't understand how hard it will be. If we have to go out there and buy a visa for every country we visit, we can't do tours with 10 countries in, you know what I mean? And then what do? Play Germany for 6 shows and then just turn back around? And then is that worth the ferry? You know, there's a lot of big questions that aren't even being entertained right now, but it's a frightening time for musicians and the people of Britain.
I'm guessing it's also about the fans that will not cross the border to come and see your show when you're only playing the UK.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we're fortunate that we've got a very good, strong European following, and on this tour in particular, like yesterday we turned up at the venue at like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and already there was a girl from France and a girl from Germany who'd flown over to see us, and it's just like, you know, I'm proud to be British, man. Like I really am. I'm not like an obnoxious Brit, come on, take our country back kind of Brit. I'm just somebody who's very proud of the country we're from, the heritage, the history, you know. And I love the fact that people are coming, you know, these kids that are coming to follow the tour, like, you know, they can go to places like Southampton, Birmingham, Leeds for the first time and really experience this awesome cultured country. And like, it just sucks that maybe in a couple of weeks, months, maybe they just won't be able to, you know what I mean?
Well, from that said topic, we'll go to the kind of more romantic side of that question, how it began. You have another song on the new album, You Are Everything. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's about the fans or for the fans?
Yeah.
How did that start? Who came up with the idea of writing a song for the fans?
I think the song is about believing in yourself, really. and we meet a lot of people that kind of have troubles in their lives and people that kind of need that help or that push, you know. So the song, obviously I didn't sit there and go, right, this one's for the fans, you know what I mean? Like, cause I couldn't write a song like that. I'd struggle, I think. I've got to be very personal about my lyrics, but I feel like it's a song that really speaks to people and says like, look, you guys are super important and never forget that, really, you know. And I think the name You Are Everything, the video we put out with all those live footage and stuff, like, even though the song isn't explicitly about the fans, is a real song for the fans, you know. So yeah.
How are you guys as fans? What's your biggest fan moment?
Ooh. What, me being a fan of another band?
Of anything. It could be even of a TV show or...
Gee, I'm trying to think of times where I've been weird.
Any funny posters?
So I have like a quite an extensive band T-shirt collection, and I'm like very into, like, if I'm going to see a band, I'll probably have an obscure band shirt that the singer of the band I'm going to see likes, or their side project or something like. So like I quite often, that's the only kind of lame thing I do. So for example, if I was going to see, like, say I was going to see a hardcore band down the road tonight and I knew their favourite band was Propaganda, for example, the t-shirt I got on now, I'd wear that, and then I'd see them, you know, when they do the speak in between songs, and it's like, hell yeah, dude in the Propaganda shit, and I'm like, yes. That's what I did.
Me and James especially, like, we are fanatics of certain things, like, you know, like there's some things in music or like film or like video games or like just dumb stuff like that like I'm proper like hands-on, like there's some Fortnite streamers that I would lose my mind to meet, you know what I mean? But like I think like we're still at the point in our life where we haven't really met anybody crazy yet, you know what I mean? So hopefully if the band keeps picking up and stuff and we get a chance to meet, like, like if I met like Tom York from Radiohead or something, I'd probably like physically wet myself. I don't know. There's yeah, we are fanboys.
Oh, we had a really awkward encounter with Mastodon once. So like myself and our old guitarist Faisal are quite big Mastodon fans, and it was our first ever time playing Download Festival, and it was like the first time we'd ever been around like big bands. Yeah, you know, you had like Mastodon, Good Charlotte were there, Sum 41 were there, Aerosmith were there. There were some big people in our room, and we were going over to make a coffee in this coffee machine, and it's like, fuck, it's Mastodon. So it's like, and like obviously they're probably like, because it's a backstage part, they probably don't want to be hassled, and we were backstage because we were playing, but we went up and we were like, hey guys, we sound check with one of your riffs, and they were sort of, they weren't rude, but they were kind of like, oh cool, like what do you want, sort of thing, and we were like, oh, can we get a picture? Like, I think we've learned to kind of like not do that anymore. Yeah.
Okay, so from being fans, let's talk about your future. I know you've been kind of, can I say, sitting on the album for a while?
Yeah, for sure.
So can we talk about the next album?
Yeah. I mean, we just love making music, man. We just love, like, you know, like I said, Christmas and birthday in one. So, like, for me, it's just like, I just want that again, ASAP. We're super excited to push ourselves in terms of genre, in terms of just everything, really, you know, and it's something we're totally thinking about now. Like, basically, before the album had even come out, we'd already started working, but yeah, we just got to kind of push ourselves to the limit again. So.
Is there any nervousness to kind of repeat that? Because everything was kind of channeled into this album.
Yeah, for sure.
And now you got to start from scratch again.
Well, we literally said the other day, like, we're kind of doomed, really, because the first album's done so well. Like, I don't know what the hell we can do next, you know. But I think, yeah, you're right. There's always this second album syndrome where it's like, you know, and like I say this all the time, but like Kids in Glass Houses and Gallows, two of my favourite bands growing up, like their debut albums, Smart Casual and Orchestra of Wolves, were like classics. And then the albums after that, Grey Britain and Dirt, were better, but like received worse purely because people just didn't have that kind of like fresh band nostalgia, really. And people were a bit more critical and people felt like they knew the band better than they maybe did and blah, blah, blah. So it is very tough. And even now on this tour, you know, we're getting tweets saying like, why aren't you playing this song? Why aren't you playing that song? And it's like, it's just tough because like you want to please everybody, but you kind of can't, you know. And sometimes you do have to just stick to your guns on decisions, and that'll be a really hard thing because we overthought the debut so much, and now there's even more to overthink. So yeah, it'll be a
so if you don't mind, I'm going to touch on the difficulties side of being a musician. I think being a person, especially a musician these days, is a bit difficult. Some musicians are opening up about it. Sometimes we hear about it too late. But what do you guys do, especially on tour, to stay mentally safe?
I think when you're on tour is quite a big, interesting topic as well, because like it's not something you're ever prepared for, because like it's the best thing in the world, right? You know, like when with my best friends, I'm playing the music I've spent so long writing to people who love it, and it's just like it's the best feeling. But yeah, you do get caught off sometimes, and like I think I always say this to people, but like you need to kind of come to grips with your mental illness and your kind of like hardships in life as quickly as you can and try and understand them. They aren't going away. Like in my opinion, like the things wrong inside your head won't just disappear one day. So it's like if you had a nut allergy or something, it's like you just need to learn not to eat that food and try and work around it. So I guess with mental illness and stuff, for me it's very much a case of learning how I can make myself feel better, the quickest way possible and stuff. And like on tour, for example, you know, like I kind of just like being on my own when I'm depressed, you know. So being stuck in a van with 8 people can be really daunting, but I just go and watch a film, take a couple hours out and just like take a breather really. But yeah, my advice is always just understand how you feel better, and you know, and just kind of take it.
James, what's your anchor?
I think, again, taking some time for yourself is super important. One thing that's really I find really weird is sometimes when we've had a really good show, when we've had a really good show, there'll be nights for whatever reason I just feel down anyway afterwards, and that's really hard to get to grips when everyone's in like a really good mood, but you just kind of wish you were on your own. But I think it's just important then to like remember that there's loved ones back home that would love to hear from you, and like there's nothing wrong with just putting your headphones in and doing something for yourself for a little while, or going for food on your own or something. Just taking time out, try not to burn out. Especially when you've been speaking to, like, we're very hands-on with like our fan base. We love speaking to people after shows, but like when you've done like a 12-hour day of being in a venue all day with 8 people from the start of the day and then like hundreds of people afterwards, you need to remember to take time for yourself.
Okay guys, thank you very much for sharing. Thank you for your honesty.
Thank you.
I'm gonna do a U-turn, okay, and wrap it up on a different note. But there's a rumor online. I need you to confront it, okay, either confirm it or completely deny it. But I tried to find more information about how you guys started, and there's a rumor online that you guys started as a tribute band to Take That. Is that true or false?
100% true.
Who told you?
I cannot reveal my sources, but I just wanted your reactions to that, so that's 100% true.
Yeah.
Okay, so you were Robbie?
I'm Gary Bartlett.
Oh, you were
I was Robbie.
Okay.
No, Fez was Robbie.
Fez was Robbie. We got confused.
Do you still keep some of those tributes in your set?
Yeah, dude. Shine goes down a treat. Mm-hmm. Let it be. No, yeah.
Okay, guys, anything else you want to add to fans and listeners out there?
Album's out.
Take that. Oh, take that.
Just gonna hold it in.
Yeah, nice of you.
Okay, guys, thank you very much.
Hey guys, this is Lucas.
And I'm James.
And we're from the band Holding Absence, and you're listening to Rhino Radio.